We are just learning now that the government will waive solicitor-client privilege in the SNC-Lavalin case, in that questioning and testimony for Jody Wilson-Raybould. So for more on that, we're going to go to the host of Power and Politics, Vassy Kapelos. We were just talking about this, less than a half hour ago, and you said we were going to get clarification on what the Prime Minister had said in question period any minute now. That minute is now. So maybe you can break it down for us.
For sure. Hey, Arthi. So, what we heard at about 2:30 this afternoon from the Prime Minister in question period in the House of Commons was that some sort of solicitor-client privilege would be waived, that Jody Wilson-Raybould would be authorized to speak on, quote, relevant matters. We didn't know exactly what that meant, though, at the time. What kind of parameters would they be putting around the kinds of testimony she would give? We have somewhat of an answer, and I'll preface this by saying we just got this. It's an order in council from the Government of Canada. I am by no means a legal expert, so I'm just going to sort of interpret it on the face of it to the best of my understanding, and we'll of course seek that expertise throughout the next few hours. But I would read what I think is the most relevant part here, which says, for the purposes of disclosure to the Committee on Justice and Human Rights and to the Conflict of Interest and Ethics Commissioner by the former Attorney General and any persons who directly participated in discussions with her, waives, to the extent they apply, solicitor-client privilege and any other relevant duty of confidentiality to the Government of Canada in regards to any information or communication in relation to the exercise of the authority of the AG under the Director of Public Prosecutions Act that were directly discussed with the former Attorney General respecting the prosecution of SNC-Lavalin while she held that office. So lots of legalese there. The way I interpret that is basically solicitor-client privilege and cabinet confidence is waived for Jody Wilson-Raybould so that she can testify in front of the Justice Committee and say all that she deems necessary. A few specific words there, obviously privilege and duty of confidentiality, but with respect to discussions regarding the prosecution of SNC-Lavalin. So that is right at the heart of what we have been talking about, what's alleged in the Globe and Mail, which is, of course, that the allegation is that there are people in the Prime Minister's office who pressured Jody Wilson-Raybould when she was Justice Minister to intervene in an SNC-Lavalin criminal case. And we have yet to hear from Jody Wilson-Raybould. So what this lays out is the possibility that she will freely be able to answer questions. It comes with one small caveat at the end. However, in order to uphold the integrity of any criminal or civil proceedings, this authorization and waiver does not extend to any information or communications between the former Attorney General and the Director of Public Prosecutions concerning SNC-Lavalin. The Director of Public Prosecutions is the person who initially made the decision to continue with the prosecution of SNC-Lavalin. It's not, in my mind, that's not really at the heart of this. It's not, the story is not so much the fact that person decided to do something or what may have been in conversation between her and Jody Wilson-Raybould. It's more, was Jody Wilson-Raybould pressured? And it looks like, on the face of it, she will be able to answer that question when she testifies before the committee.
And so, Vash, sticking with this theme of hearing from Jody Wilson-Raybould, we know that we heard from her in the form of a letter today. And one of the questions that she laid out in that letter, it seems like it's answered in part by this decision that we're learning of now. But in addition to that, what else did we learn from her in that letter?
Well, we kind of got a preview of what we can expect when she does testify before committee. And I should say, we had been thinking that it could be as early as tomorrow. I think that would have had to be established today. So we're probably looking at Wednesday, although I can't be certain. We'll, of course, look for more details on that. I'll highlight the paragraph here in her letter, which she wrote to Anthony Housefather, who's the chair of the Justice Committee, in response to the committee's invitation for her to testify. She said, "When I appear, I request the opportunity to make an extended opening statement of approximately 30 minutes, during which I propose to give the committee my best recollection of all the relevant communications about which I may properly testify. I will remain before the committee to answer questions for as long as the committee wishes." So she had that sort of characterization there, for which which I may properly testify. And now that word properly appears to be defined by this order in council. It looks like she will be able to say a lot. And it certainly seems from this letter that she has a lot to say. 30 minutes worth of an opening statement. We rarely, if ever, see that in committee. Usually it's about a third of that at most. And then she said she'll stay as long as the committee wants for her to answer questions from MPs from all parties. Again, we don't know the exact date or time that that's going to happen, but certainly all eyes in Ottawa at least, and I think many across the country, will be pointed towards that testimony.
Thanks for breaking it down for us, Vassy. That is Power and Politics host Vassy Kapelos. Thank you.